What's up guys, it's Ross, and this video is going to be all about how to cover up under eye bags. And if you've seen my old videos, talking maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you know I had some pretty heavy dark under eye bags and circles. So now that I've got that situation under control, I feel like I am ready to share my tips and tricks with you guys. This is kind of just the way I prepare myself to go out maybe to a nice dinner or a bar. If you want to look your best, you want flawless skin, and you just want to look really radiant. So I'm going to show you guys the whole thing start to finish, but the focus is going to be under eye bags and dark circles. Keep in mind, this does involve makeup, whether you like it or not. If you want to cover up your bags, you're going to need to use some concealer. The whole idea is though to have a very natural look. And that's what I always go for, and that's what I want to teach you guys, is very natural looking techniques. And even if you're standing this close to me right now, it does not look like I'm wearing makeup. So if you want to see how I achieved this look, stay tuned guys, and I will talk you through it. Alright guys, so to start off, I'm going to use one of my favorite moisturizers by Paula's Choice. This is the Paula's Choice Barrier Repair Moisturizer. I start by just putting one dab on each cheek and one right in the center of my forehead. When it comes to put on moisturizer, I always use one hand. And this is one of my favorite skincare tricks because it reduces the amount of moisturizer that's absorbed by our hands. It also is a more hygienic way to put on your moisturizer. It prevents bacteria from being spread all over your face. So don't forget, when you put on moisturizer, just use one hand. And thank God for high speed, because I take a long time to put on my moisturizer. Okay, there we go, looking fresh. Now that that's absorbed, we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of under eye moisturizer. This is by Fresh. It's the Black Tea Age Delay Eye Concentrate. Just a little sample I got from Sephora, and normally I don't use an under eye moisturizer because the moisturizer I use on my face is perfectly adequate. But for the purposes of this video, we want to hydrate our under eye area very well because it plumps up any fine lines that we have. This moisturizer also has a firming effect, which, as you can tell, I need for those under eye bags. Just be very gentle when you're putting on moisturizer in the under eye area because the skin is very delicate. We don't want to be tugging or pulling on the under eye skin there. We don't want any more problems actually. So moving right along, now that that's absorbed, we're going to use the first makeup type product, which is the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Primer. This is a primer for makeup, and what it has is a very highlighting, like a brightening effect for your skin. So I put a little on the back of my hands and I use a concealer brush just to dab that on the darker areas. What this does is it adds light to those areas, and it conceals the under eye bags and circles without using any concealer. As you can see, even when I first put it on, the dark circles pretty much disappear. But use the brush to put it on, and then your good old finger just to blend that out. It's kind of like a moisturizer, it just absorbs right into your skin, but it adds a little bit of radiance to that area, and it's great under makeup because that's what it's meant for. So go ahead and just dab that again, being very gentle, and blend that out. And actually, that looks pretty good. You could probably stop there if you wanted to. But we're going to move on with this look here. Next product is going to be the concealer. Now this is one of my all-time favorites. It's the Ben Nye Cover All Concealer Wheel. I take a concealer brush. I believe this brush is by Paula's Choice, but I'll put all the information on the products in the description box. And my technique with putting on concealer under eyes is only putting it where the dark areas are. We're not going to cover the entire under eye area in concealer. We're just going to apply it where we need it. And as you can see, I only dip my brush into the pot one time. We don't want too much product because we're going for a very natural look here. So just using the brush, I'm starting to blend that out and work it into the skin. We want it to become one with our skin. That way it looks very natural. I also put a little bit of concealer on the inner corner of my eye and on my upper lid, just because I have some redness and some darkness there. And by doing that, it makes it look very even and, again, very natural. Okay, now that I have applied the concealer, I'm going to use my finger and very gently just blend that out. Remember, when it comes to using makeup, and this goes for guys and girls, in order to make makeup look the best, it comes down to two things. It comes down to blending, and it comes down to having a good canvas, which would be your skin. So you gotta take very good care of your skin, and you have to blend everything you put on your face. We don't want any harsh lines, any globs. We don't want it to get caught up in any creases on our face. We have to blend it out as best we can. And sometimes our fingers are the best tool for that job. Next, we're going to go ahead and set that concealer with a little bit of powder. This is the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Powder, and I'm using a Real Techniques setting brush to apply this. And basically, I just loaded the brush, I tapped off the excess, and we're going to gently sweep that over any areas where we put the concealer. The benefit of the powder is that it helps set the concealer. That way it won't move during the day, it won't gather in our creases. And it just helps mattify it, because sometimes concealer can have like a shiny or wet finish. There we go, and that's it for the under eye area. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to move on and finish the rest of my face. The next product I'm going to use is by Maybelline. This is their Dream Wonder powder, and I'm just going to use this powder with a fluffy face brush and just very lightly sweep this all over my face. This powder is great because it is so versatile. It's great for everyday use. For me, it just evens out my skin. It makes me look very even toned and radiant. It's never cakey, flat, or dry finish. I'll definitely put the information in the description box below if you want some more information on this powder. Of course though, using the powder can kind of flatten us out, so I bring some dimension back into my face by using bronzer. This is by a brand called Benefit. It's their Hula bronzer. It's a matte finish, not sparkly or shimmery bronzer, and I apply it from the top of my ear to the corner of my mouth, just using long sweeping motions. We don't want it to be heavy by any means, but this does bring a lot of dimension back. So again, from the corner of my mouth to the top of my ear. And we're going to apply this on our forehead, anywhere where the sun will hit us naturally. So here you'll see me putting it on the temples. Of course, you got to do both sides. And then I'll also put a little bit on my hairline in the middle. This way it looks very natural, and you can see immediately it brings a lot of dimension back into my face and just gives you more of a glowy look. I also put some bronzer down the bridge of my nose and on my chin, and this kind of just completes the look. One quick sweep over everything, make sure it's blended well and that it's even on both sides. And I'll kind of just gently sweep it all over everything so I get a little bit more color. Now the last step with the powder is just to go back with that same brush I used for my face powder and just really make sure everything is blended together. Like I mentioned earlier, it's all about blending in order to get natural looking makeup. And look at that, I think that looks pretty darn good. Now my last little trick here that I'm going to let you guys in on, after I finish modeling of course and showing you how good I believe this looks. We're going to go ahead and just dab our finger on our tongue and just moisten up our brows, because after putting all that powder on, we can get a little bit dryness and the powder can collect in our brows. Voila, and there you have it. That's the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. And don't forget to @ me on Instagram if you recreate this look on your own. I would love to see what you guys come up with. Talk to you soon.